Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today. So, today I want us to talk about something every product team struggle with. So, whether you're a product manager, you're a founder, marketer, or developer, and that is tension between making money and keeping users happy. Because if we're being honest, the moment you try to introduce monetization as a new product, immediately you start with monetization. There's a friction between the user experience and generating revenue. And the moment you try to optimize purely for user experience, you often have to delay your revenue. So the real question is, how do we monetize without breaking the user experience that made user come in the first place? So that will be the main thing we'll be discussing in today's episode. So at the heart of every product is that simple question that at the heart of that product is, does revenue come first, or is it the user's experience that we have to focus on first? Because if we're too aggressive with monetization, then users may abandon our product for alternative products. And if we're too passive with it, revenue will be stagnant and product will become unsustainable for us because we need the revenue for us to continue with the product. So this is a decision whereby as a product manager, we have to every now and then review our decision on this particular matter. But as a product manager, we're not just choosing between is this do we want to focus purely on revenue or want to focus purely on how users experience feel, how they feel about our product. Because every to be honest with ourselves, every users wants to use a product without paying. But how do we make them see the value in the product for them to pay, for them to be willing to pay? That's what we do as a product person. So here is a principle I strongly believe in. Monetization should be a reflection of value, not a substitute for it. Because if a user don't see a value in your product, then if you try to ask them to pay, it will look as if that's a barrier, or how do we feel as if you're interrupting their experience on your platform. And even for them to pay, as if you make it a product whereby they have to subscribe or not use the product, if they don't see the value in it, they won't subscribe. But when there's a value in a product, payment feels justified. They feel okay, since I'm getting this particular value from this product, then I can willingly pay. Or the pricing as well, that okay, since I'm getting so value from this product, then paying for this certain amount wouldn't be a problem. So the real question is not how do we monetize, it is at what point do users feel okay, users feel they have enough value from our product and paying is justifiable. So different monetization creates different user experience. That's what I want us to understand, because if we're meant to focus on ad, then that will be low barrier entry. Users can easily adapt with okay, you showing ad for them, then they gain the value they want to gain. However, scaling might be a challenge. And other thing with ad is that it can easily interrupt. If it's for a user who doesn't like seeing ad, they would rather want to go for the premium part of your product. However, if the value is not justified enough, they will be like, okay, since this product, I'm not the user experience on this product is not so pleasant, especially with the ad interruption, they might likely abandon your product. So any decision we're taking when it comes to monetization and user experience, everything has to be justified. User have to see, is there value in this particular product which I want to pay for. Another one is subscription. For as a product team, when it comes to subscription, we can easily predict, okay, this is the certain revenue we are likely to see from social amount of acquired users. And another thing is that if we have a subscription model, it is also easy for us as a product team to okay predict or use the data to analyze the percentage of the percentage and amount of people that are likely that we are likely to retain over the years. However, another model which as a product team we can also consider is the freemium model, whereby we integrate free usage with the paid one, whereby the users can have a test of your product for a couple of days, then before they progress into subscribing. So with this particular model, every model, there's no rule of thumb. Every model has their own merits and they have their own demerits. So we as a product team, we have to ensure, okay, anyone we're going for, does this suit our need? Does this suit the class of users which we have on our platform? Does it suit them? If not, we need to settle, evaluate, and check the one that best work for us. And that one is the one-time payment as well. If for example, if it's a product that doesn't have an additional or continuous value, if it's just a one-time value, one-time payment will most suitable because it's simple, it's clean, and it's just direct. You pay for the value once and you have the value once. That's it. So we need to be able to justify which particular model best works for us. So the question is, which model align with our product value? Which do we think, okay, our user will be most comfortable with? Because if a product delivers ongoing value, then subscription might work. If it's an occasional one, then just like I said earlier, a one-time subscription might be the best for that particular product. So paywall are one of the most sensitive user experience moments because it is at that stage that user feel, okay, it's getting serious now. I need to justify, am I getting enough value from this product for me to pay this particular amount? If it's not justifiable on the part of the users, then the user might find it difficult to pay, because if this particular one, if it's not done well, then the user might get frustrated. There might be an increase in the churn rate, and even though there might even be a damage to the reputation of the product, because let's assume now it is being promoted as a product that, okay, you can use it without subscription, whereas users started using it, and at a certain point you tell them, okay, you can no longer use this, you have to pay if you need to get the value you're getting from our user. They might like, oh, they might start spreading falsehood regarding the product and discouraging others from using it as well. So it's very important we look into all these when trying to satisfy our users' need and get our product revenue. So when it comes to monetization, many teams track the wrong metrics. We all know that if you optimize for monetization without the right metrics, you damage your product. Many teams focus on revenue spike and short-term conversion. That's good, but what particular metrics should we focus on if we really want to justify, have a good synchronization between the user satisfaction, which is the good user experience, and monetization, which is revenue to sustain the product. So here are some of the key metrics which are very important. One is the retention. We need to ensure, okay, how is our retention? Day 1, day 7, day 10, and all those retention metrics. We need to keep track of that. How is our retention? How is our conversion rates from free users to paid users? How long does that journey takes? We need to be able to pay attention to that. And how about the churn rate as well? Because not all users will pay for a product. We need to be able to track all these. Another thing we need to be able to track is customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost us for us to acquire each paid customer? So all these are very important for us to know, okay, what's the best pricing model and how valuable is our product on the aspect of users for them to consider, okay, this has good value, I need to pay for this. All these are metrics which are very important, because a monetization strategy that's increased revenue but kills the retention, that's not success. You're just going to see, okay, there's a short time spike in revenue, but at the end of the day, you've damaged your reputation or your retention with your users. So we need to be able, there needs to be a balance between the two. So on that, this will take us to addressing something which is called the dark pattern. So dark pattern, if I may put it, it's a kind of way of manipulating users, designing the paywall, or let me say the payment system in this, or the payments, the way the landing page through which you make the payment in a way whereby it looks tricky. They're hidden subscription button or hidden add-on or forced trial and confusing prices, and all these are not good for a product. At first, it might generate an increase in revenue for the product. However, it's not a good practice. It's not a practice whereby the product manager should embed in their product. Having a clean user experience, having a clean web page whereby everything is explicit, the pricing system, everything is detailed, it's explicit, it's more better, because the same way, what was it called? The same way a good reputation, trust, the same way it accumulates, that's the same way the dislike of a product can easily come from a user. So we need to be careful when doing all this, when designing our web page, when designing our pricing system. There shouldn't be any confusion, because in the situation, let's assume a situation whereby a user subscribe for a product for, let's say, £50 today, and that same value that is being gotten from that £50 paid, another users from your platform using your same product paid £10 and they're getting the same value, that break the trust of the buyer or the users that has paid that £50, and that might let you lose that particular users and others. But if there's a clear payment system, a clear pricing model and everything, it will make it easier, because when users communicate as well, they read reviews online before they go for a product. So if there's any kind of confusion and all that, it may break the trust of that particular brand. So users remember how a product makes them feel. So that's why it's very important. It's very important to ensure we compound the trust they have in our product. So now let's talk about segmentation and users that are willing to pay and users that are not willing to pay for products. The fact is that it's not all users that are willing to pay for all products. Some users, no matter how the value they get from the product, they're not going to pay. That's the fact. Because not all users are the same. Some users want free access every time. They don't mind if it has 1,000 ad, they will tolerate it. However, some want premium feeling. They don't want any ad, they don't want any disturbance, they just want that premium feeling. That's good satisfaction. So as a product manager, your job is not to force everyone into one model, having paid ad into everyone's face, whereby some people are willing to pay for you not to show them ad. So you need to understand who value speed, who value depth, who value convenience. So this different segment of users, you need to be able to know, okay, how do we satisfy our free user? How do we satisfy our paid user? That's our product. That's our work as a product manager. Then we align all these different segments of users. Then we align them into our product value perception. So one thing is that you get monetization right. Yeah, I mean, one thing is that you will not get monetization right at first. At first, it's a trial and error. You try different things before you get what truly works for your product. With research, you can easily get that right. That's normal, because monetization must be tested, measured, and refined. When you test a particular how your landing page looks like, you optimize for it, you test a button, you optimize for it, you test different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be the amount that you're optimizing. You just optimizing that flow from the landing page to the payment page and all that. You just have to optimize for all these things, because during those optimization, it will ease the user experience until they make they turn into a premium users whom so yeah, it's very important to make sure they enjoy that journey. It's very important. So one thing is that you will not get monetization right the first time. That's the fact. We need to understand that. So monetization must be tested, measured, and ordered, which I have said earlier. Experimentation with pricing, your landing page design, your messaging, your feature gateway, and all that. Very, very important. But always be clear with whatever you're testing. It's very important. If you're testing something, if you're testing for a message, make sure you're testing for that particular messaging. Don't create conflicting message at the same time. Test for one thing. If you get that right, move on to the other thing, and then that way. So signs to look out for that you are doing the right thing, that you are not doing the right thing rather, when it comes to monetization, is that there's likely to be a drop in your retention. You'll notice that there's likely to also be a negative review on your review. If it's a mobile app, you're likely to see a review, a negative review. That's so thing. User will start complaining about different thing. Another thing is that you might even see a significant drop, a significant churn rate, significant drop in your traffic, your retention, and all that. So you need to be careful of that. Make sure you keep track of those things. Then you know, oh, we're doing something wrong. Another thing is that users might even leave your products and go for alternative. So sometimes growth doesn't stop immediately. It declines slowly. You need to be able to keep track of this. If it's declining slowly, then you need to quickly do something to fix that before it really gets worse. So as a product manager, you are there to make sure to present for the users that this is the value our product has to offer. Then to get them to pay for the product shouldn't be an issue from there. So sustainable monetization is built on three main things. The first one is clear value delivery. How are you presenting to your users that there is a value in our product? We have a value to offer. How are you telling the users that, okay, this pricing we are offering, it is justifiable for the value you will get from our product? Another one is the long-term thinking. How much are you thinking ahead? Because there are some products that are so innovative that you have to be able to, users need to be able to trust, okay, I'm giving you a money fitted land annual product, annual subscription product as an example. Users need to be able to know, okay, that okay, using this product, I'll continuously get value from these products months or months or weeks ahead. So all these things are very, very important. We need to be able to justify there is a value in the product, and the value matches the price in which we are offering the users. So because the best products don't force monetization, they make it feel like a natural next step. That's the fact. If your product has a value, definitely users will be willing. Not all users, get me right, not all users, but a lot of users will be willing to pay to get an additional or more value from that particular product. So let me leave you with this. Monetization is not just, it's not just about business decision. It's a product experience. You need to be able to optimize, continuous optimization. It's very important because every pricing choice, every payment gateway, every ad payment, they shape how your user, how they feel about your product, how they see your product. All those things they compile to how they'll end up trusting your product or not trusting your product. So all those things are very important. And sustainable revenue is not built on maximizing extraction, how much you can get from a user. No, it's built on how you can maximize your value. How much value are you proposing to your user? If a user is seeing a significant value from your product, they are likely to invite others to also try your product. So all these things are very important when trying to navigate between having a good user experience and monetizing your products. Because when you get your monetization right, when you get a good balance between monetization and user experience, definitely user will stay, user will pay, and the growth of a platform will definitely increase. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you get one or two things from today's section. Thank you.